Hey guys, it's Brett here with you again and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today's video is a review of the February 25th episode of NXT, episode 266. Just finished watching it up on the WWE Network. I'm a big fan of NXT. I actually think it's probably better than the main Raw product, mainly because the wrestling is just better than the main Raw product. I don't know why. I guess it's because there's independent wrestlers, most of them, or have been. So they're more focused on technical wrestling and the wrestling side of things rather than the promos and the publicity side of things of professional wrestling, which is one of the reasons why I like NXT. It goes straight into the matches. There's not an awful lot of promos, there are a few, and it just gets straight into the wrestling, which is the bit I like. And I know there's a lot of people like that. Even Stone Cold said on his podcast, same with JR. So it's good to see. So the show started. The crowd are into it as usual. It's a good crowd down there at Full Sail University in Florida. They definitely enjoy the wrestling. They know who the wrestlers are. They get behind them. They have their favourites. They're lively. They're a lot like an independent wrestling crowd, I must admit. So it's good to see. Now the first match was Hideo Itami, who used to be Kenta in New Japan, going up against Bull Dempsey. Bull Dempsey came off a loss takeover against Baron Corbin. Hideo Itami, of course, beat Tyler Breeze. So he's in on a bit of a run. Of course, he's not been in the company long, but he is known as one of Triple H's golden childs. So hopefully he'll get a good push sooner or later. It was a decent match. The crowd were clearly behind Hideo. He got a nice pop when he came out. Bull didn't get a great one. Clearly behind Hideo. Hideo Itami chants were going throughout the match. The match mainly was controlled by Bull Dempsey. Dempsey controlled most of the match. He controlled the pace for a lot of it. He just used his power to break down Hideo. And it looked like he was going to win. It looked like it was going to be a bit of a squash match, to be fair. Hideo didn't have much offense. He finally started getting some kicks in and some chops towards the middle of the match. But Bull again squashed that. Took control of the match again using his power before Hideo actually managed to hit some kicks in the corner, sending Bull Dempsey down to the mat, and then hitting a huge running low drop kick into the corner of the ring as well onto Bull Dempsey. Bull Dempsey got up, and as soon as he got up, he was flung into the ropes and hit with a running single leg drop kick, which was a huge drop kick, huge power on it. Looked like it knocked him out for the 3 count, and Hideo managed to pick up the win. So it was a good match, not great. Good one because it showed the power of Bull Dempsey. Showed he wasn't just a squash, hammer negger, anything like that. But it gave Hideo Itami the win, which he needs. He's the one that should be getting the push. He's an exciting talent and good future ahead of him, I have to admit. After the match, Hideo was celebrating. He was walking up the ramp, and Tyler Breeze attacked him at the top of the ramp, hitting him with the selfie stick, which is pointless, but that's another story. He hit him with the selfie stick and then continued to taunt him and went to take a selfie with Hideo Itami knocked out in the background. As he was about to take it, Hideo managed to stand up, chase him to the ring, go to attack him before Tyler Breeze managed to escape. And that's the first match, guys. It was followed up by highlights of the Brian Kendrick when he was in WWE previously, because of course he returned in this show. There was a big build up to it. Last week we saw Rhino return. This week we saw Brian Kendrick return. So that's the first match, and let's move on to the second. The second match was a match between the Lucha Dragons, Cara and Callisto. Callisto, of course, formerly Samurai Del Sol on the indie circuit. And they went up against Ty Dillinger and Jason Jordan. I haven't seen much of Ty Dillinger and Jason Jordan. They have the physique of professional wrestlers. Whether they'll make it, I don't know. But the match started with them entering. Lucha got a decent pop, not a great one. I think they've gone down in fans' liking lately after losing tag titles, of course, to Blake and Murphy. Also, TakeOver, they botched a few moves. They messed up a couple of their segments. But they got a decent pop. And just as Tyson Dillinger and Jason Jordan were coming down, their entrance was interrupted by a promo segment from Solomon Crowe, who, of course, made his debut last week. And he cut a segment on how his mission is to take over the NXT and win the NXT Championship. Of course, if you don't know who Solomon Crowe is, he was Sami Callihan in CZW and the indie circuit as well. So he's a good talent to look out for. And he came and cut a promo. He sounded a bit like Heath Ledger as the Joker. If you go back and listen to it, there's a bit at the end of it that he says, "You've been warned," in exactly the way Heath Ledger said the same sort of thing as the Joker. So I don't know if that's to play into his character or if it was just something he was using for that one promo. We'll have to wait and see. Back to the match, and after the promo, Tyler Dillinger and Jason Jordan had entered the ring. They took control of the match, actually. Jason Jordan looked very good in the match, showing his power, his technical ability as well, taking control of the Lucha Dragons. He then tagged out to Ty Dillinger, who came in a lot more cocky, looked to take control, but actually got beat down, didn't really have much offense at all. Kept shouting over to Jason Jordan to relax and that he's got this, wouldn't tag him in. And you can see it was winding him up. The commentators were playing to that as well. And Ty Dillinger then got it taken to him by Cara and Callisto with the springboard moves, the kicks and the chops. Managed to go towards Jason Jordan to tag him in, and as he went to tag him in, Jason Jordan dropped off the apron and walked up the ramp, just leaving him on his own. Obviously annoyed that he wasn't tagged in earlier, and just left, and Ty Dillinger was left on his own. And was hit with the Selena Del Sol from Callisto before Callisto tagged Sin Cara in, who hit the springboard senton for the win and the 3 count. And went to break after that. And as we came back from the break, Ty Dillinger was left in the ring and said how he wanted Jason Jordan to come down and apologise and explain himself. He wasn't leaving the ring. He'd whoop anyone that came in to stop him. He didn't care whose match was next. And that's how we get into the next match, guys. So the next match started with Ty Dillinger still in the ring. Yeah, obviously, as I said earlier, he wanted Jason Jordan to come down. But Baron Corbin came down, his music hit, he got a nice pop. Came down looking like he was going to attack Ty Dillinger. But he didn't. He got in the ring, and as soon as he got in the ring, the ref started the match, rang the bell, as if it was a planned match. It was a very strange segment, very odd setup. The match only lasted 20 seconds because Ty Dillinger started the match with a technical hold on the headlock. And then Baron Corbin escaped from it and ended up hitting the end of days and won within 20 seconds. So it was a big time squash match for Baron Corbin. Bit of a waste. It was a strange segment. I don't see why they didn't just move to another match. But hey, that's NXT. After the match, we had an interview with Charlotte. She was speaking about next week's title rematch against Sasha Banks, the boss. Charlotte looked supremely confident. She said how Sasha can't beat her one-on-one. And Charlotte's going to win back the title. So looking forward to that match. The next match was a women's match between Becky Lynch and Bayley. Of course, 2 women that were in the Fatal 4-Way at TakeOver. Becky Lynch has got a bit of a push lately. Bayley, of course, coming out with this new aggressive character. I'm not a fan of Bayley. I know a lot of people are. I just don't like her character. I think it's a bit of a waste. She came down the ring, nevertheless, to a nice pop from the crowd. She's obviously liked by a lot of the crowd down there in Full Sail. She came down to a nice pop. Becky Lynch, came down to a good pop as well. It's good to see. Of course, if you didn't know, she was actually trained by Finn Balor when he was Prince Devitt on the indie circuit. So she is Irish. She was trained by Finn Balor, so she's a good technical wrestler. I really like her. I prefer her to Bayley. I probably prefer her to Charlotte as well. I quite like Sasha Banks. But my 3 favourite women wrestlers in NXT are probably Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch and Carmella, I guess. And then Charlotte and Bayley. So, nevertheless, let's get back to the match. They both came down to decent pops. The crowd were very split during this match. There was a lot of Bayley chants followed up by Becky Lynch chants. It was good to see. Bayley took control to begin the match using her speed and a bit more aggression. But Becky Lynch just kept hitting these power moves and good technical wrestling. She hit some great suplexes. There was a great dragon suplex, I believe, that was exploded off the mat. It was brilliant. It's good to see a woman wrestler using power moves like that, obviously where she's been trained by Finn Balor. So that's good to see. The match went on, both wrestlers using their aggression. Becky Lynch using stomps and power moves, whereas Bayley was using a lot of punches and straight arm shots and stuff like that. So that was good to see. Becky began getting in control, but Bayley reversed it by dropping her on face first on the apron to the outside, then continued a bit of an assault to the outside. Rolled her back in, went with a series of punches and then attacked her multiple times in the corner. Bayley went for a top rope Bayley to belly, but Becky managed to reverse it. But after reversing it, she was hit with a top rope corkscrew elbow anyway, which was a good move by Bayley. After that, it looked like Bayley was going to take control. She went for a Bayley to belly again, this time on the mat. And Becky reversed it with an armbar, basically. Locked it in tight. Looked, there was a lot of torque on it. And then just sat on Bayley and pulled the arm straight back so it was straight up. It looked disgusting. It looked powerful and made Bayley tap. It looked like she only had two options to either tap or have her arm broken. Great submission. If that's what Becky Lynch is going to do from now on, I look forward to seeing it. It presented both wrestlers in a good manner. It presented Bayley as still more aggressive, good technical wrestler, but it pushed Becky Lynch, which is I think she needs. And the crowd went nuts for it, I must admit. And it was good to see Becky Lynch, of course, hopefully getting a bit more of a push now. So let's move on to the next match. Before we got on to the next match, we had an interview with Rhino. Rhino explained why he's here. He said he loved the intensity of the NXT wrestlers. He has heard about the NXT wrestlers all over the world and thought he had the intensity to match them. Came back, wants to reach the top, wants to challenge everyone, and wants to hit gore, gore, gore. But it was a bit over the top for me. It looked a bit too much planned. But hey, that's Rhino, so what are we going to do? So we moved on to the main event. And the main event was a big one. Finn Balor, of course, the #1 contender, who's a big crowd favourite. He got a huge pop when he entered. He changed his entrance a bit, but still got a huge pop. Crowd obviously love him. All through the match, he got great chance. Going up against the returning Brian Kendrick, the post-apocalyptic scavenger, as he was quoted as being called. I love Brian Kendrick. He's great. I loved him in tag team, of course, as London and Kendrick. When he was a singles wrestler, I liked, of course, he went into ECW when that was rebooted. I really like him. On the indie circuit, he's a good wrestler as well. So it's good to see him return. Hopefully we see more of him. As the match went on, Kevin Owens actually joined the commentary team with Alex Riley and Corey Graves. It distracted a bit from the match because the camera kept switching to them. I didn't like it. The match started with a load of technical moves and a bit slow paced. So Kevin Owens was the main focus really. And he was presented as this heel all the way through. And there was a lot of tension between him and Alex Riley, which eventually ended up with Alex Riley basically calling him an idiot and that he has no respect and stuff. So Kevin Owens just left. Took a bit of attention again away from the match because the camera focused on that for a while. But after Kevin Owens left, we hit a break and we came back from the break. All the attention was on the match. The match started picking up pace. Some good technical moves, some good variation of kicks from both wrestlers. Kendrick looked like he was taking control when he went for a float over from the outside. Hurt his ankle. Match continued from there. And Kendrick then hit this great exploder tiger suplex. It dropped Finn Balor straight on his neck and head. Looked really damaging, looked really effective. Good to see that sort of move. That was for a 2 count. Kendrick looked in control, but then Balor started coming back. There was some great kicks and some great combination moves from both. Good power moves as well, some suplexes. The aerial assault was started by Kendrick with a diving tornado DDT and a diving missile dropkick. Looked like he was going to take control. That was for a 2 count as well. Balor managed to come back with his what did he hit? He hit his sling blade after a diving clothesline that he hit whilst reversing the Kendrick, which of course is a bulldog from the corner basically. So hit the sling blade, took control. After he hit the sling blade, he lined up for his signature exploder dropkick, which if you don't know, he sprints from one corner, hits the dropkick right in the gut of the opponent, which folds them up and sends them into the turnbuckle. So he hit that perfectly. Kendrick rolled off the turnbuckle and Finn Balor hit the coup de grace, which of course is his diving legs to the chest from the top rope for the 3 count. Good to see. Presented both men in a good way. Both men were shown as technically sound. Both got nice pops from the crowd. Finn Balor, of course, pushed further. After the match, Kevin Owens came to the top of the ramp and stared down Finn Balor. Finn Balor wanted him to come to the ring so they could fight, but Kevin Owens didn't. Instead, he turned his attention to Alex Riley, walked to the announce table, table, flung Alex Riley over the announce table. Bit of a dodgy segment. I would have preferred him to powerbomb him through the table, but hey, it is Alex Riley. He's a bit of a wimp, so hey. That sent a statement of aggression to Finn Balor. Finn Balor again wanted him to come to the ring, but instead Kevin Owens just walked off, and that's how the show ended. So, overall, good show. Some good matches again. Good technical ability by the wrestlers, and good focus on the wrestling as well. Looking forward to next week, see where everything takes us. Of course, Sami Zayn will be back next week. Don't know if he'll be wrestling, but he will be making a statement about how he's feeling about what he's going to do next. Of course, there's probably a rematch clause in his contract. He has been overseas of a tour of Asia with WWE, so maybe he'll be being promoted to the main roster now. I'd like to see that, but I'd also like to see him stick around in NXT to see some more feuds with him, Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, Kevin Owens, Adrian Neville. So we got some really good talent down there. And next week also is the NXT Women's title rematch between Sasha Banks and Charlotte. That'll be a good match. So make sure you tune in, and if you don't manage to watch it, tune in next Thursday for the review of next week's NXT. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you all later.